Hey everyone, Andrew Chelman here with MachineSkills.com. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned on the website to be notified of all upcoming tutorials. In this series of tutorials, I'll be going over some ideas on how to make a sampled beat. Now I don't want to tell you that there's only one way to do this. There's plenty of ways to do it, I just want to give you my way of doing things. Hopefully in watching these videos, you'll find some inspiration that you can use for your own projects. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is find a sample that you want to work with. And I know that can be kind of overwhelming. But what I've done is just gone online to music streaming sites and just search for genres of music that I want to work with. So sometimes I'll search for jazz, or maybe instrumental piano, or just anything that I feel like I could work with. So after a while of digging through online sites and stuff like that, I found something that I think I can use. So here's what I have. Once you have your sample, you can start slicing it up. The reason we do this is to reorganize the sample into a melody that's a little bit more unique. Maschine has its own slicing menu, and if you want to do that, go ahead and work with that. Just go into the sampling menu up here, head over to the slice tab, and you can use these different parameters and mess around with that. But what I've done is exit this and just do it manually. I feel like this gives me more control, especially when the sample isn't perfectly on time. Before I even start slicing, I'm going to change a couple parameters on this pad here. And the reason why is because I'm going to duplicate this several times. So if you get the settings right here, I don't have to change it for all the slices. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the sound tab here, plugin over here, and the sampler over here. I'm going to turn the polyphony down to 1. And what this is going to do is make sure the pad cuts itself off if you play it more than once. So if I don't have this on 1, I'm going to get that overlap and it does not sound very good. So I'll turn that down to 1 and make sure everything will sound clear. Now we're going to move over to the next tab just by pressing this arrow button here. We have a couple different options to work with. You can see I have it set on one shot, and that's usually what I leave it on for sampling. And that just makes sure the whole sample plays even though I'm not holding the pad down. If that's not something that you want, you can go through and experiment with these different things here. And then change these parameters around here, and you can get some different effects depending on what you set it to. But for now, I'm going to leave it on one shot, and I think that is the most useful option for slicing. So now that we have these set, I'm just going to work with choke group. So I'm going to enter the pad mode button here. You can see choke group is located right here. So I'm just going to turn this over to 1, we'll leave it on master, that's all we need to do. So this will make sure that the pad cuts the other ones off when we start duplicating it. So polyphony made sure the pad cuts itself off, and choke group will make sure that the pads cut each other off. So now that we have a choke group set, we are all set and ready to start slicing this up. So I'm going to exit pad mode there, then I'm going to duplicate this pad here. I like to move it up here so I have a row to work with. And I'm going to leave this one untouched just so we have a baseline to work from. So here we have our first slice that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to go into sampling mode up here, go to the edit tab. I can zoom in using this knob, just move the start over. I'm just going to search through the sample and find a start point that sounds good to me. That first part of the sample sounded a little bit off, so I'm going to move into the second bar just because it sounds a little bit more in time to my ears. So that's one slice that I think I can use. So once I found one, I'm just going to duplicate it and then move the start point over and find another one. And just repeat the process. Alright, so going back over that, I just duplicated the sample several times and changed the start point for each of them. And none of these times did I press the truncate function up here. If I did that, that will cut off the start and end points and I won't be able to adjust it later. One of the main reasons I do slicing this way is that I can continually adjust the start and end points of all my samples. going to be very helpful when we're trying to fit these samples into a grid. In this example, I only have 4 slices, but feel free to make as many as you want. Once you have all your slices set, you can start playing around and trying to find a unique melody to create. I already had one kind of working in my head when I was slicing, but I'm going to finalize it right now. So you can hear I kind of have an idea of what I want to work with. Once I have that set, I'm ready to start recording. Before I do that, I have to set the tempo to match the sample.